It is time for watching. We have been doing a lot of watching because we are at home streaming. Sup, Maude, Garrett here, joined by Trisha Hirschberger.
Hi.
What you watching? We actually thought we'd take this episode every other week. We get a guest on to ask them what they're watching. If you want to know what Trisha and I have been up to, check out the previous episode. But for now, Anthony Carboni, hello, welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
How are you, sir?
So good. So very good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for being on the show. I want to hear all about what you've been watching now that we are all sheltering in place and in isolation. Let's check it out.
So much good new TV, so many wonderful things to watch. And I'm just rewatching old stuff over and over again. I've started rewatching Community. The whole series is on Netflix here in the States as of April 1st. And dang, I remembered loving Community, but the first 2 seasons of Community, perfect television, perfect comedy.
Wow.
So good. I love it so much. Have y'all watched through it before?
2012 was when I was first introduced to Community, and I hit the ground running on a big binge that I was actually doing when I was visiting America on one of my big first Do I Want to Move Here trips. So I think that's kind of lovely. I have an issue with Chevy Chase trying to fit into the integration of it all. I kind of wish they kept it a little bit younger and maybe even had like Yvette's character be like the eldest one. But as far as a ensemble cast, I feel like there's such great balance with everyone. You get so many extremes, but it just works together in this melting pot. And it's so well written. There's a lot of pop culture references, which I'm so about. They had a Dungeons and Dragons episode, and we can thank Dan Harmon for that one.
Yep.
I'm so keen to get stuck back into this. I have a massive Joel McHale crush, but like I am human.
I will double down on the crush for sure. Again, you're human, I'm human. We're all Anthony's human. I'm sure we can all feel that part of it. I have only ever watched a few episodes of Community. I never like binge watched or watched a whole season or anything, but what I did watch I enjoyed.
Here's the thing. It suffers from what I call the Bugs Bunny syndrome, which is really kind of brilliant comedies that are a little wacky, like a little surreal. After 3 or 4 seasons, they eventually turn into a Bugs Bunny cartoon. All of the characters become like these like broad caricatures of themselves. The world becomes wackier and wackier. You see it a lot in things like 30 Rock. You see it in later seasons of The Office, stuff like that, where things become less grounded. And so if you dipped in during those seasons, it's still funny. It's still good. It was still better than most things on TV. But those first 2 seasons are utterly brilliant. And, the Russo brothers, that's where they got their start as directors. They were doing like TV they were directing like almost every episode of Community. And when you watch back knowing what they've done since, it's crazy to watch every single episode they directed. It's Dan Harmon, right? So it's like a Rick and Morty or something like that, where every episode is sort of satirizing something we all know and recognize, whether it's a movie genre, a TV episode, a type of character, something from pop culture. And the Russo brothers take whatever is thrown at them, and they're like, this episode, we're doing a conspiracy theory, like Paranoid, like 3 Days of the Condor, like whatever. They do it. This one's an action episode. Great. We're directing it like an action movie. We're directing it like a rom-com. And it's just...
But we're calling it paintball.
Right.
Even though it's like full-on action and it's like life or death, but it's just a paintball game. Those episodes are just wonderful.
So brilliant. And the entire cast is just wonderful. Everybody is pitch perfect. I honestly think that Chevy's character for the first 2 seasons is great. Like, I love that they have this like weird privileged baby boomer punching bag that's just awful, and then as they like learn more about him, they're like, oh, it's awful, but it's also sad, because that's the other thing. The first 2 seasons, they're real characters, and so you're like, they all come and they're like, we're misfit like comedy tropes, and then Dan Harmon's like, okay, you know the trope, and now that you know the trope, I'm going to show you the person, and I'm going to deepen these characters.
I just feel like a little bit though, like everyone's so, if you're taking that improv kind of theme, there's so much yes and then with him it was like, no, I hate it. And you're like, just go with.
And I think some of that was also, now that we know the whole story of the production, some of that was Dan Harmon acting out on Chevy Chase. A lot of that was Chevy Chase acting out on Dan Harmon. They hated each other. He was like, Chevy Chase is famously hard to work with. Dan Harmon is famously hard to work with. And so I think they just got into like a real battle of egos that kind of hurt that character, I think, in the long run.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, I don't think it harmed the series when he left. Let's just say that. Ooh. But I kind of liked the later seasons where they just went balls to the wall. Like they really just, like, rules went out the window. It was just fun. What season was it when they did the every scenario? Like, when they were ordering
season 3, The Darkest Timeline.
Yes.
So it's this thing where they roll a dice. They roll die to see who goes downstairs to get the pizza, and Abed, who is like, he starts off as the guy who knows everything about media and is a little on the spectrum, and then just kind of turns into this weird audience surrogate by like season 3. But he's like, by rolling that die, you have created 6 different timelines, and they're all like, shut up, Abed. But then you get to see all 6 different timelines. That's the kind of show this is.
Yeah, I love that.
I like that.
He's very on the spectrum, and I love that character because I think that it showcases like what an asset they are in like a group scenarios and what it is that they bring. And because he is, like you were saying, like he's almost on the audience's side. It's like on their team, that he brings so much of what you're thinking to the forefront and like enhances these moments. But yeah, I think it's hilarious. I saw Nathan Swap saying in there that Annie was the favorite character, but the Dean Pelton.
Oh, Dean Pelton is so good. Dean Pelton is like the best character. He is just this weird guy where it's like, he's this dean who wants to be their friend, and there's something, he's into pageantry and costumes, and like every time they try to get at like what he feels about gender or sexuality, they're like, they'll hint that he's gay, and he's like, oh no, it's not that simple. He's like got so many layers of things going on.
But he's so over the top and flamboyant as well.
How many seasons are there of Community?
6
seasons and a movie, but we haven't got the movie yet. We're gonna get that movie. We have to.
And Craig, I do want to say that Craig Pelton, the dean, was played by Jim Rash, who is an Oscar-winning screenwriter. He wrote The Descendants, the George Clooney movie.
He also wrote the force majeure American version, Downhill.
Yeah, he wrote Downhill.
And I just interviewed him recently for that, actually.
He was one of the producers on Thoroughbred, which was like a really great Magnolia Films release a couple years ago. And he is he's a voice on Star Wars Resistance. His character and Bobby Moynihan's character, they're the first canonically gay couple in Star Wars.
Oh, that's really cute. Oh, that's
on
sweet.
Star Wars TV.
He also one other thing. Oh, did the Stranger Things after show as well.
Yes.
I remember like randomly popping up in that. I was like, sure, bud. He's
great. He had a series on IFC that was a screenwriters roundtable. That was absolutely, it was either on IFC or the Sundance Channel. If you can find it, track it down, where he would bring on screenwriters and just talk through their scripts with them in a round table of other writers. And it was, he's a brilliant dude, and he throws himself into whatever they throw at him. He's one of those guys who has no shame, has no ego. They're like, you're walking in this time and you're dressed like a giant payday bar and you're going to be rapping about how much you want everybody to love you. And he's like, great, let's go. I'm the only one here with an Oscar at home. What's up?
STS in chat was asking if this is where Brie Larson got her start.
Brie Larson was in a couple things beforehand.
Or, I'm sorry, Allison Brie, not Brie Larson.
But she,
definitely Allison Brie.
Yeah, definitely Allison Brie. Brie Larson is in later seasons, but she had done stuff beforehand.
Got it.
She just has popped up in the most random things. Like, the more I will watch something, she's just kind of there. What was one of them? Was she in like, no, Jessica Alba was in Never Been Kissed. It's like something like that where she's just like randomly a high school student.
Yeah, she's just in the background of so many things. Me and a friend have Captain Marvel watch. And like whenever we see her in something, because she's one of those people that's been working forever, but you would never know. And so every time she pops up in something, I'm like, Captain Marvel watch, Captain Marvel's in this. And we like send each other like texts about it because
You
Who
would
knew?
never know because she, stayed doing smaller roles for so long, or you would never know because she's not a good actress.
No, she was doing smaller roles for so long, and she's one of those people where like once they have their big breakout, you can look back and be like, oh, they've been in things forever. They've always been doing stuff.
I think she, Brie Larson, I think she kind of suffers a little bit from what I always felt like I suffered as an actor, which is like, you walk in the room or in the audition room and there's 60 other girls that kind of look the same as you. And so not that you're necessarily forgettable, but especially in like a small role, like you will get cast to play like normal girl. People don't always remember normal girl small role. Whereas
no, that's not true. Listen to me. Normal girl, I remember you. And if you're out there, I've been looking for you. Give me a call. Perfectly normal girl. We met at a deli. You were having just a plain turkey sandwich. I don't know if you remember me, but give me a call.
Nothing else on it.
Perfectly normal. No, she didn't have any. She didn't want any mustard, I remember, and she wanted it on white bread. Perfectly normal girl.
Basest bread we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Tim W says, hell yeah for normal girl.
She got into her Honda Accord and drove away, and I didn't see it.
Well,
What
but
color was the Honda Accord?
It was that
No
beige.
one even knows.
It was that early 2000s beige.
it's
Oh, yeah,
only
yeah.
only in Los Angeles in movie casting where like Phoebe from Friends is the awkward one, and then you see her in real life and you're like, my God, that woman's stunning.
Yeah.
That's me, the best friend, the quirky one-liners. Oh,
Yeah.
girl, I brought the ice cream. You're so much better than that guy.
Can we have you do those lines again, but holding a ukulele and a snow globe? Thanks.
That's me.
Oh, LA
Who would
ruined...
you be typecast as, Anthony? Oh, the funny gay best friend.
Probably funny gay best friend. When I had no beard and glasses, I was definitely like snarky IT nerd.
Yeah, nerdy
Yes.
white guy is, I feel like, what you always get cast as, Anthony.
Yeah, there would be. I remember my dad once when I was still auditioning a lot for acting. Is my dad saw an episode of the TV show Chuck. I remember him texting me and he was like, "Hey, I'm watching this show Chuck." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You could do this. You could be in this." I was like, "Oh, thanks, Dad." And my dad's like, "Yeah, he's got this nerdy best friend that works with him at the Best Buy, and you'd be perfect." And I was like, "Eat shit, Dad."
Oh my God, is that the male epitome of always the bridesmaid, never the bride?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Ooh.
100%. I think now.
Shishi,
I was gonna say, I think now I would be like, I would be like the guidance counselor, or like the public defender who goes against the main character that's the DA, like a public defender in like a shitty corduroy suit, you know?
I don't agree with that last one. The first one for sure. I feel like I've got another technically 5 years according to Hollywood, but I can't wait to be like the embarrassing mum.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, wine mom is the part that you were born to play.
Thank you. I feel seen.
I want that for you. I want you
Aw,
to be
that's
Hollywood's
sweet.
biggest wine mom.
Yes.
Gold.
Agreed. It'd be like Maude Garrett, Cersei Lannister, right up there. Wine mom.
I'm going to take over this entire kingdom, and I'm going to be shit-faced the entire time.
Perfect.
Yeah, good. Cool. That's
Cast.
my audition. Shish, what are you watching if you haven't really seen Community? And are you interested in Community at all?
I'm definitely interested in Community. It's that age-old problem of so many amazing things out there to watch on television right now that you can't pick just one. And for me, I tend to lean harder into more fandom stuff. So like, if it's like, oh, I could go back and watch Community, or The Witcher's on, or I could go back and watch Community, or Lock and Key's a new series, or I could go back and watch, like, for me, if there's a sci-fi or fantasy or a comic something out there, I will probably choose that if given the option. Now, that being said, I just randomly binged this week because Nate said someone at work told him it was good. I randomly binged I Am Not Okay With This, and I was like, well, you know what? It's based on a graphic novel, so that I will go for it with that. It was above average okay.
Right.
I wouldn't say it was like the best thing I've ever seen, but it's only 6 episodes and they're like less than a half hour each. They're 22 to 25 minutes each. So you can get through it pretty quick. And there were definitely some funny moments. There were definitely some standout performances. the lead, I forget the actress's name right now, but she is making waves everywhere just based on like this appearance, and there was something else she was in right before that. Here, wait, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Move over, Brie Larson. We've got the other girl who's been working for ages, and now people may know her name.
Check out this normal
not
girl.
everyone. Yeah.
Have either of you seen I'm Not Okay with This?
No, it's being I feel like I'm being marketed to very hard by Netflix for it because of my taste.
So it's
I've seen a lot
very,
of stuff.
very 80s nostalgia. If you like John Hughes movies, if you like 80s nostalgia anything, you will appreciate the way certain scenes are shot in this. They definitely have overt, like, oh, that's Breakfast Club references and stuff like that, where they're kind of recreating parts of movies. Her name is Sophia Lillis. That is the actress's name who plays the lead. And she was also in... she was in It and It Chapter 2.
Either.
I'm a little, the tank is full on 80s nostalgia, I think.
Well, then it might not be for you. It's quick, it's bingeable. I would give it a 7.8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. Not bad.
Great.
If you're looking for something, it's a quick, easy fix. Maude, what are you watching?
A lot. It's my job at the moment, so I kind of want to fill you guys in on what is happening out there. Parasite has just come out on Hulu. If you haven't seen Parasite, along with a lot of Bong Joon-ho's other, I think 5 other films, 4 other films of his. Yes, light that bong and go watch Hulu. If you have not seen Parasite, don't look it up. Don't find out what it's about. Just watch it. It's incredible. It got Best Picture at the Oscars. I mean, like,
my favorite movie of last year.
It's so good, guys. So that one's on Hulu, which is fantastic for them. There's another series that is coming out on HBO on Sunday night, and it's got a great cast. I have the most outrageous crush on Domhnall Gleeson. I can't explain it, so don't make me, but there's just something. I'm like morbidly attracted to him.
You've told me about this before. Told me about this before.
Like, it renders me speechless for some reason. But
wow,
he's in it alongside,
really?
Yeah.
Renders you speechless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the accent. I think I like Irish accents.
Okay.
But it's him and not quite Brie Larson. So it's an actress that kind of looks like it could have been Brie Larson's sister. I think her name is Merritt. She's in it. They've got great chemistry. The premise, the genre kind of changes, but basically these two were high school sweethearts. They haven't seen each other in over 15 years, but they had this pact that if at any time you text run and the other one texts run back, you meet at a train and you jump on this train all the way across country and you spend this time together. And so that's what they've done, and they've kind of left their lives behind. But
I love that.
Yeah, so it starts off as like this romance, but then it really quickly changes because you learn about their past and maybe what they're running away from. So that's my recommendation as well. Out of all the things that I've been watching, and trust me, I've been watching a stack, that one I think stood out to me.
What was the name of that one again?
Run.
Perfect.
Run, like Laura Dern when she's like in Jurassic Park, you know?
Right. That's how, if you need a mnemonic device to remember the word run, think about Laura Dern in Jurassic Park.
I struggle to say run normally. I have to say run. I've just realized that when you asked the name of it, and I went, run. Oh, no.
It did have an urgency where I was like, me now?
Yeah. I should not play this game with anyone, because if they say run, I'm like, I'm dressed up as Ellie Sattler, and I'm out of there limping. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so there's some great watching recommendations. Let us know in the comments what you are watching, what you are loving. If you've seen anything that we have mentioned as well, let's get the playlists and queues happening because we got time, guys, nothing but time. Anthony, thank you for sharing your watching with us this week. Really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime.
Yay. Thank you, Anthony.